Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Sarcasm City Q&A. Before we start, I'd just like to give big up Flawless, as it's his birthday today, and that's why he's not here. So it's me, and I will be joined shortly by Ryan, who's a Liverpool fan. But for now, big up to Flawless on his birthday. If you're on Twitter, jump over to YouTube, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and then you can go back. Ryan has just arrived. Let me add him. Hi, Ryan. Big up to you.
Hi, how you doing?
How you doing?
Yeah, good. Just been a bit of a boring day, to be honest. So, yeah, good to be doing this.
Good. How you feeling about Liverpool? Like, what's your next game? I don't remember what your next game is.
Tomorrow, away to Southampton tomorrow night. So,
Okay.
pretty tough game, to be honest. Then, obviously, City and United winning this weekend has put all the pressure on us tomorrow, I guess. So, yeah, I'm not confident, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, Southampton are a decent team.
Yeah, it's one of. I feel like this season's a weird one because normally you look at some games and you're like, yeah, we're gonna win that. Do you know what I mean? Even if you say like, oh, I'm not sure, you kind of in the back of your mind, you're like, yeah, we've won that game. But I just feel like this season, it's hard to predict, isn't it?
It's games like Fulham and West Brom that we've drawn. Like, it's like Man United and City. I remember dropped points like the day before, or was it United dropped points the day before we played both of those teams? And I thought, yeah, it's sorted. We're going to win tomorrow easy, and we're going to extend the gap over, and we're going to go clear. And obviously, it didn't happen. So it's a weird one. I've kind of lowered my because of it's been so unpredictable. I've kind of lowered my standards and been a bit more before games. Like, it's a tough one. Kind of preparing myself if we actually do drop points, even if we shouldn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking because it's just weird this season. Do you know what I mean? I think, obviously we didn't start well. City didn't start well. And I just feel like it's almost like on a normal season, City would probably be quite far off the top, but just the way the season's gone, like 2 wins and you're in the title race. It's crazy. So
mad. It is mad. I mean, suddenly Arsenal are like 3 points behind Chelsea and stuff like that, and I wouldn't have said that like a couple of weeks back. So honestly, I think Chelsea, by the way, they're struggling at the moment, and you lot did them easy today. So that was one hell of a performance from City. I'll give you that.
Do you know what?
You'd be happy to do today.
Honestly, you know what? I'm so happy because all season on here, on Gyeldem City, on every podcast I've been on, I've been like, City haven't been playing that badly, and everyone's been asking me like, what's wrong with City? And I'm like, there's nothing wrong with us. Like, I feel like Pep's changed his tactics slightly. He's obviously gone with the 2 DMs and double pivot kind of a shape. Do you know what I mean? And he's succeeded in that. Like, our defense last season was awful. He's brought in Diaz. And I think it's worked what he wants to do. Rodri does the basics in the midfield, so he likes that. And I think it's just our attacking players weren't clicking. And I have said all season, when it clicks, we'll be in a title race. And it looks like it's clicked now. I'm not going to say that we're going to go on and win every other game because we will still drop points. But it looks good. And this is what I've been waiting for all season. So I'm so happy. Like, I didn't expect us to win today because we're away at Chelsea. We don't do too well away at Chelsea. Even when we win the league, we win there like 1-0. So, I'm happy. I thought we would maybe draw or just, maybe get a 2-1. So, yeah, I'm very happy. I think this season's still very unpredictable. It doesn't mean that City are going to go on and go clear at the top. Like, I can't see that. I did say we need to win our games in hand because, they're not points at the end of the day, and we need to make
the points on the board.
So, yeah, I think Everton is a hard game for us. They're a bogey team for us away at Goodison.
Yeah.
It's not, again, that's another place where we don't win there too easily, even though we have won there the past couple of years. They've now got Ancelotti and arguably better squad. So, yeah, I don't think they're a confirmed 3 points. I did say about 5 games ago that City's fixtures up until like sort of this game were kind of winnable apart from Everton and Chelsea. And I thought we should have won them all and then at least get 2 points from Everton and Chelsea. Obviously, we got 3 from Chelsea, but then we only got 1 from West Brom. So it's like, I think now we need to beat Everton. And then hopefully Villa's not going to be an easy game as well.
No, it's a tough game.
So yeah, they're not direct wins. But I think if we do win them games, we'll be put in a good position. Especially with you having to play United. So
yeah, at least one of us is going to drop points in that game.
Yeah.
I just feel I'm not saying whoever wins that game will go on and win the title or finish above the other, but if anyone was to win that game, it would be such a big psychological blow to the other. Especially us, if we were to lose at home and lose our home record. I think we haven't lost at home for about
2 years.
2017, about 3.5 years, something crazy like that. And if we were to lose it to them, it would be hard. I think it would be hard for the players to react after that, And I can't lie, I know we're playing tomorrow, but I'm already like so nervous for that United game.
I know. That's going to be the biggest Liverpool United game in a long time. Because you've not competed at the same time, have you?
Yeah, probably the biggest I've ever seen, to be honest, because it's so much riding on it in terms of, like you said, it's very rare Liverpool United compete for are up there for the title. So rare. The last time was 10 years ago in the 08-09 season, and even this seems different because we're actually equal on points going in. I think when we played them that year, they were quite a bit ahead of us. So this is just a big one. This.
I know that's a crazy one. Let me get some of the comments. Edward says, I'm going to leave a like and watch this after or listen. I've got work tomorrow. Big up Jan and Flawless. Happy birthday, bro. Yeah, again, happy birthday
to Flawless.
Flawless, yeah. Rashid says, big up to you.
Yeah, big up.
He was on that 9-hour broadcast.
I went off. I think I went off just after you, maybe about 15-20 minutes after you, and then I went to sleep. I woke up the next day. Well, I was like, "Oh, 9 hours." They continued for like 4 more hours. I was like, "Fair play, honestly."
Do you know what's funny though? Because Flawless rang me when I jumped off, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna." He's like, "I'm gonna close the show in a minute." So then he's like, "Let me see if these guys are still chatting." So then he's like, "Oh, Ryan's got to go." So he said bye to you, and then he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna close out the show." So I'm expecting it to be like half an hour more, but it went.
I
don't know, but big up to you for being on that because you lasted longer than me.
You too as well. Well, only like a few minutes longer, to be fair. I was just gone by the end of it.
I know, I was tired, man. 187 Gangster Crit says, big up to you, Jan. Big 3 points for City today. Yeah. These sorts of games are the ones you really, really have to win. City haven't been doing that this season, and I've never ruled City out because I never would. I've seen us come from behind before. But I think that West Brom game, I just thought the passion, like there was a lack of passion. They didn't look like they wanted to win it. And that really angered me, that game, because the derby angered me because, again, there was a lack of passion.
Yeah.
I think that West Brom game, I just thought you should be winning that game. And like they didn't even look like they were trying. And I think at that point I was thinking maybe we ain't going to win the league. But then ever since sort of that game, I've seen sort of the old City come back a little bit. And I think everyone's
because this season I've been saying that I've been saying that City have been missing a lot of chances in games, but the football just hasn't kind of been the same. Like you said, the attacking players haven't clicked. But I feel this result was so big because I think it's one of those statements City has sent out, like, you know, we can still do this. We're still a proper team. You know, when we get going, you know, we're unstoppable against them in a really tough game as well. Like you, I went into this game thinking this. I was like, I can't see City winning this at the beginning, especially when I saw the team and I was like, you know, are they playing like De Bruyne or Sterling as the striker or something, like a false nine? I was like, I just had a feeling it would be a draw, that both teams would just cancel each other out. But I thought Chelsea started the game quite well, actually. And they probably, with that back pass as well by the goalkeeper at the beginning, I just thought, ooh, City look a bit shaky. I thought they probably should have had a penalty, Chelsea, as well, when Rodri clipped Werner. But after that, City just got going and you couldn't stop them. It probably should have been. The game looks closer than what it was. It could have been about 5 or 6, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I think if De Bruyne, because a lot of people have been slating him this season, you know, saying Bruno's better, and I've said all season that he's not been at his best. He was good today, but he's still not at his best. Like De Bruyne at best has a hat trick at least today. That first shot that he made.
I thought when he missed that chance, I was like, whoa, his confidence is down. I thought he did really well to pick himself up after that miss, you know. Because he would have known a lot of people would be thinking, oh, this guy's crap, this team crap this season, he's just missed a sitter. But fair play to him, he proper came back after that, and I think he got a goal and an assist as well. So,
I think
he played really well. He was just dictating things at times, De Bruyne. He was playing in that false nine,
He's it's interesting because I think he needed a goal. He got his goal today. He still missed another chance after the goal, but I just think he's not as sharp as he normally is. And I tweeted today that in another season he has at least a hat trick in that game. But this season not so much. So I don't know. I'm hoping that he'll get back to his best because he's not at his best yet. He's getting there, I feel like. So hopefully we'll see the best of him. But yeah, I'm happy with that performance from him. Rashid says the ginger mark out Albrighton had a good performance today. Rohan says Fat Frank in the mud.
He could. He's under massive pressure now. It's funny because it's always been Ollie, Arteta, and Lampard. It's like, well, which one's going to go first? And it always changes. First, it was Ollie when he lost to Arsenal, and you know, I think he lost to the Turkish team, and everyone's like, oh, he's going to go soon. Then it was Arteta with the run he's gone on, you know, and now it's Lampard. I mean, it's going to be tough for Lampard to come back from this. They're under massive pressure, Chelsea, at the moment, especially with the amount of players they brought in the summer, and they're just not clicking at all, really. So, especially, I said yesterday on the Galden City podcast, I commented saying Werner won't turn up, he's a fraud and everything, and you were like, oh, don't jinx it. I was like, don't worry, he will not turn up, he's a fraud. And that corner he took at the end, oh my god, did you see that at the end, that corner? That just summed it up. Oh my god, he's so technically limited, Werner, honestly.
Do you know what though? I was surprised because normally, you know, the players like Traore, who turns up against City once a season, I thought honestly that he would have a good game today. But you know what? When I saw the lineup, I was like, we're not going to win because I thought Zinchenko against Ziyech, I thought we've got no chance. But luckily for us, he's just come back from an injury, so he wasn't as sharp as he might have been. And Zinchenko was decent. So
I'm surprised he put him in, actually, because apparently Ziyech hasn't even trained a lot. So I'm really surprised he put him in from the start. And Hudson-Odoi, when he came on, looked pretty sharp as well. So, you know, I'm surprised they didn't start him. Shout out to Cancelo as well. I forgot because he's a proper player. Him, like,
he's been great all season. Do you know what? The people that shined. It's interesting because the people that shined today, for me, have been our best players all season. Like every game that I've watched, and this is why, like, when I've been on podcasts and stuff, I've been very like, you know, when people are ruling City out, and I'm like, we've been good because it's been frustrating because people will look at the results and say, you couldn't beat this team and blah, blah, blah. But like Gundogan, he has been 10 out of 10 this season. Like, I can't fault him. He's been brilliant. He's been our best player in a lot of games. He was our best player today. He is just, he's in terms of our best midfielder of the season. It hasn't been De Bruyne. It's been Gundogan. Gundogan has been sick. Cancelo, brilliant player. I love Cancelo because last season I was like hyping him up, and every time I hyped him up, he'd have a shit game, and I'd be like, and then like, but you could just see like the talent was there, and he's just playing really well. Diaz,
so good on the ball.
Yeah.
And Diaz played really well. I thought Zinchenko had a good game as well.
Yeah.
Zinchenko was a big surprise for me because the season we went head to head for the title, he was a regular at left back and he did well. And I just thought, why is this guy not playing? What's actually happened to him over the last couple of years? But maybe now he's getting his chance back there, So he's a good little player as well.
It's almost like your team in the fact that just like whoever comes in seems to kind of play well. Like, not always, obviously, they have the off games. But people can just kind of slot in and play well. But our defense this season is just, in comparison to last year, they're just worlds apart. Like, I just don't feel normally, like, if we're 3-0 up in a game, I'd be like, oh, we might still concede. Like, I remember tweeting at 2-0 that we needed the next goal. But I feel like even now, like, I only said that because it's Chelsea and they have quality in their squad. But I feel like now City score 2 goals. Like, our defense can keep it, keep that win. We weren't doing it like last season even. So, yeah, I'm quite happy. I just think City are finally getting the results that I think they deserve. I think we've been playing okay, but we weren't clinical. Obviously, Cancelo would have the most amount of assists if we were clinical because he's another one like De Bruyne. He will put it on a plate for them and they miss. So,
I mean, would you bring when Walker's back? Would you bring him back? Or should Cancelo stay at right back? Because obviously, I've seen he's played him at left back and he's done well there. But I think you should just play him in his best position. If I'm being honest.
Yeah, I think
he's better than Walker.
I think Pep likes Walker, so I think that's why he plays. But I prefer Cancelo personally. I do. So I don't know what he'll do. Obviously, he was kind of forced into playing Zinchenko because he would have had to play another defender, and because Laporte was out and Aki was out, he kind of had no choice. I think Zinchenko's okay. I think he does a good job sometimes, but then he'll have other games where he's awful. So we could play him today and he's brilliant. And then the next game, he's awful and he's responsible for 2 goals or something like that. So I don't know if he will come in now. I think it's just because of who's out. But yeah, I would play Cancelo. I just think because he can kind of play both, he plays him on the left and then Walker on the right. But I think it's so much better when he's in his natural position. Like, he's so much better.
I remember commenting on.
Yeah, go on.
I remember commenting on one of your podcasts as well about Gundogan. Saying, why do City fans not rate him? Because I think he's really, really good, really tidy, intelligent player, and I just don't get why he gets quite a bit of criticism from some City fans, because I've got some City mates who just don't really rate him, and even when he was at Dortmund as well, I really liked him when he was there. So I think he's quality, Gundogan.
Yeah. I think he's just like a scapegoat, isn't it? Because you get the same, like, you've even got like some Man United fans on Twitter that don't rate Bruno and they're saying, oh, he's just stat patting and, he's not that good. So for someone that's been their best player all year, not even all season, all year, you would expect everyone to be singing from the same hymn sheet, but they're just not. Like, you've got United fans that, because they prefer Pogba, they then don't like Bruno. So I don't know with Gundogan. Maybe it's because Sometimes when he plays with Rodri, they can look a little bit slow. Obviously, Fernandinho is the better option to Rodri in terms of breaking up counter-attacks and stuff. And I think, obviously, in them games that we don't win, Gundogan is sort of scapegoated a little bit because he's in the midfield that concedes them goals. But I think this season, with our new system, like the way we play now, I think Gundogan is kind of shining a lot more. And he's just, you know what, I'm glad that he's getting his ratings. Obviously, I know you've rated him because you've said that before. I think Flawless was saying to me a while ago, like, your boy Gundogan. And I'm like, you know what, it's not even that I love Gundogan, like he's my favourite player or anything like that. It's just I don't like to see players that have been consistently useful for us being slated for like no reason. Do you know what I mean? And I think especially in the Champions League, you know, he played every game in that season where we went out to Lyon. And obviously he didn't play against Lyon. I don't think he
Pep did some matching with the lineup. He changed it up quite a bit, and obviously I don't know why he did that, to be fair, but
So
and about the Bruno thing you said, I think, and there are some United fans that have an agenda, but I can understand why they feel that about Bruno, because when you watch him, he can be really. I said it yesterday. He's like the midfield version of Salah, where during the game he can be really frustrating, giving the ball away, but you know, he will end up getting an assist or a goal, and he'll end up with great stats. I rate him personally, but like me, he's not a lot of people's cup of tea. Even United fans, some of them would maybe like a player who keeps the ball more, who's maybe a bit sensible with his passing. I think that's why some United fans are critical of him.
Yeah.
So I can understand why.
Yeah. RB says, yes, guys. Conrad said, and to be fair, the Ginger Albrighton played well, but Bruno's still better. He also said Ward-Prowse.
That's good. Liverpool, oh my God. Van Alden, don't foul anyone outside the box, please. Oh my God. Don't let him
says, 8 likes. Everyone keep hitting the like button. Yep. If you haven't liked it already, please like the video. Subscribe if you haven't. Sarcasm City are on the road to 2K. 1 second. 187 Gangs Crit says, if it wasn't for Sterling, City would have scored 6 against Chelsea. You know what's interesting? Sorry?
I don't think he missed that many chances, did he? Obviously, he missed that one, but then De Bruyne put in the rebound, so I don't think Sterling missed a lot of chances.
He was in a different position today. Like, it's almost like normally you'd have De Bruyne giving the ball to Sterling, but it was kind of the way around. And I think it kind of worked. It worked a little bit better. So we'll have to see what Pep does with it. A lot of people were saying to me, my friend actually rang me at just before half time, and he was like, why does Pep never play Foden? And I was saying, like, me and Rose were actually talking about this on Girldom City, and I talked about it on other shows, and I'm like, I don't get it. But I was on a show yesterday, I think it was on Prime's channel, and Jammer, who's a City fan, was saying that he thinks that Pep doesn't play Foden and De Bruyne together because they're both quite attack-minded. And in them games where people can counter-attack you, you're a little bit more exposed defensively. So I don't know, because I was surprised, obviously, to see them both start. And then when you actually looked at the way we lined up, De Bruyne was in a much more attacking position. So it kind of worked. So I'm hoping that Pep kind of learns from it and like goes with that sort of attacking team more often. Because I think defensively we have kind of sorted out a lot of our problems. So I don't think the threat is as bad. I think Diaz and Stones or whoever's in the back can kind of deal with the odd counter or the odd chance. So I think he can afford to maybe try and be a little bit more attacking in games. So hopefully he does.
Pep a couple of years ago would have easily played those two, you know. He had like a midfielder. His only defensive player from midfield to attack was Fernandinho. The rest were like De Bruyne, Silva, and then Sané, Sterling, Aguero. So, but he
Yeah.
has become more pragmatic, which I understand as well.
Yeah.
And it's just about getting the right balance in the end. At the end of the day, and judging by today's performance, it looks like he's on the right track to getting it right. To be honest, so
Yeah.
can you see him playing De Bruyne in the false nine a bit more, because it surprised me a bit in playing that.
Yeah,
I thought
I
it'd be
was
Sterling.
shocked. When I saw the lineup, I thought he's sailing up front in a
Yeah,
false
same.
nine. Like it was, I thought that's what it was. I didn't think, I've even said before, like Foden could maybe even play there because I know when Torres plays there, it really works, and I know Foden is a great player, so I thought maybe even he could play there. So I'm surprised to see De Bruyne play there. But I think it worked. I think De Bruyne is not as clinical as he normally is, otherwise it would have been a different result. But I think the more he plays up there, the more obviously he's a fantastic player. He's going to be clinical. Do you know what I mean? At some stage, so I think it kind of worked. I don't know whether he'll do it again. I know what Pep's like, but I think it's an option. Definitely an option. And yeah, I don't know. I'd like to see Foden play more because I just think he's so good.
Oh,
And I
yeah,
just think it's a little bit unfair for him not to play as much as he deserves to play. But yeah, I don't know. You never know with Pep, so I can't say, he will or he won't. But I do like that kind of, when people don't know what you're going to do tactically, because everyone was surprised by that. I think Chelsea obviously was surprised as well. So it's one of them things, but we've got the quality. It's just it hadn't clicked, and I feel like today's the first time where I know the Newcastle game was similar. We kind of were very clinical in that game. The past couple of games actually we've been really clinical, so I'm just hoping we continue with that, and then we'll have to see where we are in the title race. I think because it's so close at the moment, I think even if we win and we go top, we're not going to be that far off like the 10th team position. Do you know what I mean? So kind of needs to see how it goes over the season. But yeah, I think it's working. At the moment, Sterling hasn't been at his best this season. I don't think anyone has. I really don't think anyone has, apart from Gundogan, Diaz, and Cancelo, and Stone. Edison's been good this season as well. Don't want to miss him out because I think he's been good. But yeah,
I think that was even more impressive about City's performance. The fact you didn't have Edison in there, I thought, Chelsea are just going to look to, pepper him with shots, get crosses into the box, but with Werner in the box crossing it towards him, he weren't going to do anything. And City just protected him very well, didn't allow him to get tested a lot, and the defense in front of him just shielded him very well. So fair play to City for that as well.
Yeah. Anna says, yo, big up to you. Conrad says, I think Lampard is getting the sack tomorrow. Yannicka thoughts. I don't think he will get sacked, at least at the end of the season. I have said with Lampard all season, I think this season everyone's been quite reactionary. Like one win and we're going to win the league. One loss and it's we're never going to win. I think it's been the same with the managers, with Ole, with Lampard, with Arteta. Like you said earlier, it's one every week. I do think. What? Sorry, had to sneeze. But yeah, I do think that Lampard made the wrong decision today. I know my take on it is that he's bought Werner and he's trying to say, look, it's going to work. It's going to work. I'm going to keep trying it until it works. But I think maybe a more experienced manager might have put Giroud or Callum Hudson-Odoi against City. I think if he played them from the start, I'm not sure we would have won in the way that we won. I think Giroud would have been dangerous against City. We do concede quite a few corners, and our team are not the tallest. So I think they would have had a better chance playing Giroud, and I think Lampard tactically didn't get it right today.
Yeah, he
And I
didn't.
think it's a little bit Pep, because Pep changed things. I think he was a bit shocked. He would have expected, probably Aguero maybe even to start, and a sort of more typical of what City would normally play. But we kind of changed it a little bit. So obviously that's not his fault. But I just think when he saw how Chelsea were playing and how City were playing, if I was him, I would have brought on Giroud. And he probably might have got a bit of a better, because if they'd have got if they'd have got a goal at 2-1, they could have won that. They're at home. So I think I don't think he'll get sacked right now, but I think at the end of the season, depending on where they finish, they might sack him. It's Chelsea. They might sack him.
Yeah. I don't think he'll get sacked tomorrow.
No. Oh, he's gone. He's gone, but he'll be back in a minute. Liverpool, Man United combined 11. We'll do that a bit later. Remind me to do that one. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry about something.
That's
cool.
About
Lampard, I don't think he'll get sacked tomorrow or this week or anything. I think it could happen soon. I don't think he'll last the season personally. I just think Roman, if things continue to go wrong, he's just ruthless. He doesn't care who the manager is, And with the amount of money they've spent in the summer as well, I think he's in big trouble. And I also think, what's his name? Roman sacked a manager who won the Champions League, for Chelsea in the FA Cup. Sacked him a couple of months into the season. So Roman's ruthless. He'll sack Lampard soon, I reckon, the way things are going. And yeah, a lot of Chelsea fans are turning as well to Lampard. So he won't get sacked this week, but I think give it a few more weeks and the way results going, I think he'll be gone then, really.
Yeah. I did say, I've been saying all season, I think if it's a title race and it comes down to sort of Liverpool, United, City, Chelsea, I do think that Klopp and Pep have the experience to finish on top. I do think it's slightly different between you and Man United, because I don't feel like it would come down to Ollie against Klopp. I think it'd be the players. Ultimately, the players are the ones who perform on the pitch or they don't. But I think them United players would be thinking, we can't let Liverpool win it again. So I think regardless of what Ollie does, if they're on the pitch, they'll have a big say in that.
I think with the thing with United, with the players knowing that, don't let Liverpool equal our record, we need to stop them by winning it and stuff. I think players that could be really important for United in that are players like Rashford, Greenwood, who are homegrown, who, are Man United fans, have grown up as United fans, and obviously know the rivalry and know how it will hurt them if we do win the title this season. So I think those kind of players have such a big role to play for United this season if they're in the title race at the end.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I think that's what I think, because I have said all season about the managers, but I just think when it comes down to Liverpool versus United, I think your rivalry alone will kind of put the players on. It's kind of like 11-12 for us, it was because we were against Man United. The fight was a lot stronger than it might have been if we were against Chelsea. Do you know what I mean? I think
definitely, 100%.
the fight wouldn't have been, Company and that derby was just on fire. So things like that. So I think if it does come down to Liverpool United, it might go slightly differently. But I do think if it was Chelsea against City, I think Pep would have the experience on top. And the same if it's Liverpool against Chelsea, I think Klopp would have the experience to come out on top. But yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll do the Liverpool Man United combined 11 later. It's hard to do them. Danny Ings to score tomorrow.
I was thinking that earlier on, and I was like, it's going to happen, isn't it? He will score tomorrow. I can just see it. And he scored against us last season, I remember, when Adrian screwed it up. And I think, he will score tomorrow. And that's why I'm worried. Southampton are a good team as well. Like
Yeah.
they've got a very good manager. They're coached really well. So, and the way we played the last two games, I mean, it could suit us because the last two games we have struggled with teams defending deep, breaking them down. But and Southampton, I think, are a team that will attack us more than what Newcastle and West Brom did. But at the same time, our defense isn't, with Matip out, we'll either have to play Nat Phillips or Reece Williams, who, Nat Phillips did look shaky against Newcastle against Callum Wilson the other day. So him or Reece Williams who against Danny Ings will be a big problem tomorrow. So I'm not confident for the game tomorrow, if I'm being honest, but hopefully we get the win.
Yeah, he asked you, are you confident? He also said he hopes that Salah and Mane annoy you.
They're so frustrating to watch, honestly, those two. They're so frustrating to watch, especially Salah. He's the worst one.
Oh, God. 187 Gangster Crit says Rodri is defo the weak link in that City team. He's average. Do you know what? I think Rodri just does what's on the tin. You know them basic players who just do the basic football. I think he's one of them. So he's all right, not special. Do you know what I mean?
I think with him, like you said, he's not an amazing player. He's good at he's decent technically on the ball, but he's quite slow, and on the transition he can be got at, and he can be quite clumsy at times from what I've seen. Like with that penalty, he probably should have given away today, but I think he's a bit unlucky in terms of when City brought him because of Fernandinho was aging. Obviously, he's still playing, but not playing as much. I think maybe he was, even though they're not quite the same player, he was supposed to be that like long-term defensive midfielder replacement for City. And obviously, Fernandinho set such a high standard that it was always going to be tough for Rodri to get anywhere near that. And because he's nowhere near the player Fernandinho is. So I think he is unlucky in that way as well, Rodri.
Yeah, I think that's the problem when someone comes in to replace someone. If they're not near the level, they always. It's the same argument with Gabby and Aguero.
I was going to say that, yeah.
I was always like, is he good enough to replace Aguero? Tell me a striker in the league who is good enough to replace Aguero. There isn't one. You know what I mean?
Just looking at players like Harry Kane.
Close. Do you know what I mean? I think unless we got someone like a Haaland, he's literally not going to be. He's not going to be replaceable. We'd have to get someone in who's very at the top of their game.
Yeah, definitely.
But Glazers out says, do people actually believe that Ole is an awful manager? Personally, go on.
I think that there are United fans who, are really happy with what he's doing. And, I can understand that with, the way they're getting results and stuff like that. But I think most rival fans and a lot of United fans, obviously we know some, do acknowledge that he has his limitations as a manager, that he's not good enough tactically, that he's not a great coach, because you can just tell that there's no system there, they're not drilled, no patterns of play. So I think a lot of people do know that Ollie isn't a great manager and he's just relying on players' individual ability.
Yeah. That I think that Wolves game, because I don't really watch Man United every week, but I watched that Wolves game and you could just see there was no tactics. That was just Rashford's individual brilliance. Moments.
It wasn't even individual brilliance, it was just a deflected shot.
Yeah. Just like that's what it is, and it just looked like there was no tactics. Like they could have very easily drawn that game. Do you know what I mean? It was that Rashford had a really good sort of minute, and it worked out in their favour. But I think, tactically, it's working out for him so far. But I think when he comes up against teams that, the managers
the better coach and stuff.
Out-coach him, I think he'll struggle a little bit more. That's probably why he struggled against
Leipzig. We saw that when they played. Yeah, I was going to say, because obviously Nagelsmann is a much better coach than Ole, and you could just see, United had much better players on paper than what Leipzig had that day, and Ole just set up in some weird way with no system, and Nagelsmann with this system just, took advantage, and Leipzig won deservedly on the day. They outclassed them. So, that's where Ollie does fall short at times as well.
Yeah. Comrade said, Jan, for me, Fred will be key for Wednesday. Yeah, I agree. I also think that Pogba is always good against Man United, against Man City. He's also on good form at the moment. So Pogba for me, and obviously Rashford. Rashford always turns up against City. So them two are the players that I would be most scared of playing Man United. But we'll have to see what happens. It's a cup game. It's a little bit different to the Prem.
Hang on, can I just sort something out with my stream? There's something.
Yeah, no problem. But yeah, Dupe says, hi, Annika. So big up to you. He says, AWB to have Sterling in his pocket. Sterling doesn't play well against Man United, so I'm not expecting anything different. Dupe says, Yannicka, please come on Midnight Vibes. I've not been invited, but I will pop on and see what's going on. Comrade says, Ollie better not play a 5 at the back on Wednesday. I don't know. I feel like they both might set up how they did in the league so they don't lose. But I think both of us need to go for the win. It's a one-off game, isn't it? It's a trophy at the end of the day. Give over. Rodri got the ball. I'm assuming that's in reply to the penalty. For me, I think if that is a penalty, defending is kind of finished. I feel like 2 years ago, we would not be saying that's a pen, but since VAR's come in, every sort of touch in the box, it's like, it's a penalty. He didn't take him out. He went for the ball. Looked like he got the ball. It's debatable though. But yeah, I don't think it's not a clear pen or anything like that. And I can understand why it wasn't given. Conrad said the best thing about the game was Werner kicking the corner flag. Bless him. He'll settle in soon. He's just not done it yet. 187 Gangscript says, Jan, do you think Pep will go with a strong lineup for the derby on Wednesday? I do expect him to go with a strong lineup. I think Pep takes every competition seriously, but he will rotate. He always rotates. I can see Laporte coming in if he's back from his injury. I don't think he can drop Diaz, so I'm assuming it'll be Diaz, probably Laporte. He'll probably change things a little bit, maybe at the back. He might even play Mendy. Who knows? I think he's got to play a strong squad because we won't beat Man United without a strong squad. Timothy says, hopefully Man United can stay at the top. Chelsea and Spurs both had their moments as the number one contender to Liverpool. I think this season, every week, it looks like there's a different winner, Like I've said all season that I think City will compete. I think our squad's too good enough not to. But I'm not going to go today and say, yeah, we're going to win it because of today's game, because next week we could lose to Everton, or, well, we're not playing Everton next week, but we could lose our game in hand to Everton, and we could also lose to Villa, and then it's not that simple. But yeah, I think long term, we're up there. Man United are up there. Liverpool are up there. And then Chelsea, Tottenham. There's quite a few teams that are kind of in contention still. Conrad said, watch TalkSport tomorrow, back Lampard and say it's the players' fault. They probably will. I think mainly because he's English. They're gonna back him. He's a legend. He's an English legend. Not sure how fair it is, but they do that. Get 187 Gangster Crit says Cancelo is playmaking fullback, top baller. I agree.
Yeah, definitely.
Timothy Lai says Gundogan just keeps the ball ticking and can have some moments of real quality. Yeah, he's a solid midfielder. Fake Football TV saying, hearing Jan say best midfielder, she's talking about De Bruyne because he scored today. I was actually talking about Gundogan because that's my guy. But yeah, De Bruyne has been brilliant. Zachary says, plug show more flawless. Wow. Don't know what that means. But yeah, big up, guys. Big up to you, Manny. Comrade said, when Zinchenko has a good game, you know you've been bad. You know what? Zinchenko's been all right for us.
He was good in
Comrade,
that season in the league. Zinchenko.
yeah, go on.
Oh yeah, I'll just say he was good in that season where City and us went head to head for the titles. So.
Yeah,
Nah, he is a good player and obviously I don't think he's a left back. I think he's a midfielder. So
yeah, he is. Yeah,
you know, so
but he's
he does
never
he
played
does a good job.
midfielder for City, hardly ever. He's always
Yeah,
been like playing other positions. So
yeah.
I don't know. Comrade said, Jan is Kyle Walker back for the Manchester derby on Wednesday. I don't know. I think you've got to isolate for 10 days. I don't know if it's been 10 days
Yeah.
yet.
I don't think it has by Wednesday. I don't think it has.
No. And also, I think COVID takes it out of you, even if you're an athlete.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
I
don't
would have
think
been in
we'll
back
be ready
straight
anyway.
away. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think he'll be brought in for that game. And Cancelo's doing fine anyway, so I don't think he's really needed.
Yeah.
Walker for that game.
Bits and Bobs, big up to him. Says, big up, guys. Says, nice win today, Jan. Nice to see De Bruyne doing all right. You need to start hating on De Bruyne, and then it won't be surprising when he has a good game. Chorus says, what a game. What a goal from Gundo. He smoked Thiago Silva out the game with that finish.
Oh yeah, Thiago Silva was done by that. That was beautiful from Gundogan. And the finish as well was really good.
Score that back heel, though. That would have been nice.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh,
That was just before half time, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I would have loved that.
Thiago Silva was done today.
Do you know what? Gundogan doesn't score that much, but when he does, it's always pretty much always a good goal. Like he scores a lot for Germany, fantastic goals. I like.
Think he scored quite. I'm not sure if he scored a lot of goals for Dortmund. I think he might have, but I always rated him when he was at Dortmund very highly. I always wanted him at Liverpool actually.
Yeah.
I remember when I thought, Klopp, why don't you go for him? He was your player at Dortmund. Why don't you go for him? But I was angry when City got him, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think at first he struggled with some injuries, didn't he, when he first joined?
Yeah, like the thing is with City is when we buy players, we try and buy players that haven't been injured, but then they come to City and they always get injured. So it's like I think Aki had never been injured in his career, or he'd had one injury. He's come to City, he's injured every other week. So it's like Gundogan was the same. He came and he was out for ages, and then he came back, and he's been all right since. Not really had that many injuries, but yeah, he just City, isn't it? Conrad says, Ryan, what's your thoughts on Origi? I think he's finished.
Yeah, he is. Conrad's right. He is finished. I mean, I love Origi. After the goals he scored a couple of seasons ago. In the goal against Everton. The guy gave me the best night of my life against Barcelona when I was there. It was mad, and obviously the Champions League final goal. But yeah, I was.
Oh, he's gone again. I'm sure he'll be back. Comrade says 21 likes. Everyone keep hitting the like button. He also says we are Moments FC. Yeah, like the video if you're here. Subscribe if you haven't.
Yeah, just keep playing.
Currently on the road to 2K, so make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Share it on Twitter if you want. Share it on all your platforms if possible, and then hopefully we can get to 2K soon. But yeah, go on, Ryan.
Yeah, my stream's just playing up today. Yeah, about Origi, he's been done for a while. You can see when he's come onto the pitch, he's just not doing anything. He's losing the ball when he gets it. I don't know. I think the game where I realised, he needs to go now was when we lost to Chelsea last season in the FA Cup. We played away and we lost there, and I was like, he started and he was so bad, and I was like, he needs to go now. I remember telling my dad, like, I love Origi, but it's time he has to go now. And especially with getting, Jota in, Origi, and I think Minamino's ahead of him now as well, that he's just really fallen down the pecking order. And I think, I'll always appreciate him for what he's done at Liverpool with some of the important goals he scored, but he needs to go now. He really needs to go.
I think he will.
I think he'll go this month, actually.
Why not? says the standard is slipping because I was full screen. Yeah, you need to get the likes up to 100 in it because you've already had the reward in it. So, get the super chats in as well because no one's put one in today so far. 1 second. Jamie, I think this is about Liverpool. He says you will win because I don't think you will drop 3 points in a row. Klopp won't let that happen.
I hope you're right, Jamie, but just the way we're playing, I think hopefully Thiago starts tomorrow. I think Klopp said he's not back to 100% fitness, but I just really hope he starts because I can't handle another midfield of Henderson, Wijnaldum together, and I just can't handle it. They'll probably still play together if Thiago plays, even though I think the midfield should be like Thiago, Henderson, and Jones, but it'll probably be like Thiago, Wijnaldum, and Henderson. So nothing I can do about it.
Why not sentiment asks why you're not confident about tomorrow.
Because have you seen the way we've been playing in the last 2 games? That's why I'm not confident. I mean, like I said, maybe tomorrow will suit us a bit more with Southampton, maybe attacking us a bit more. But we do have our issues at centre back, and against Danny Ings and that lot, we'll probably struggle. And Southampton are a good team, like I said, and they'll definitely give us more problems going forward than what Newcastle and West Brom did. And we're struggling going forward at the moment. So yeah, I'm not confident for tomorrow.
Jamie says Ole is a good manager.
He's a good man manager. I'll say that he's a good man manager. He does really seem to have like a good relationship with a lot of his players, like Rashford, Martial. So he does seem a good man manager. I'll say that.
Yeah. Toby says there are better managers than Ole, and I want better for my club. That was a big missed opportunity. I think with Ole, it's one of them things where because he's doing well, always going to have fans saying like he's doing his job. But I just think, from what I've seen, like it just doesn't look like, I don't know, like it almost seems like he'll take them so far and they'll think, yeah, we're going to do it. And then it's like the Champions League. Like when they beat PSG, people were saying, you know what, Ollie. And when they beat Leipzig 5-0, it was like, we're going to get through easily in the group. We're going to get far. We might even get to like a quarterfinal. And then
win it, they were saying.
Yeah, they need 1 point from 2 games and they don't get that. And I just think like another manager, a decent manager anyway, would be able to get his team with the quality that Man United have 1 point from them 2 games. One of them was against Istanbul. So, yeah, I'm not saying he's the worst manager ever. He isn't. He's a good man manager, like you say. But I just think you can't be telling he's a quality manager when he can't get 1 point from 2 games. When you're not.
I mean, yeah, I understand that. I think Poch got appointed as PSG manager yesterday. So, if Ollie would have left, this season, I think people would have said he would have done a good job, and I agree with that because he's built a very good squad there.
Yeah, he has. I can't hear you. Don't know if you can hear him or not. I can't hear you. So yeah, he's jumped out. I don't know if you could hear him. Let me know in the comments, but I couldn't hear him. I don't know if this is about. There's one Rashford over Sterling. People always think he's better Rashford over Sterling. I don't know. I think Sterling has been, but Rashford has the quality. So I don't know. I think I don't like to get involved in that debate. But yeah, what were you saying, Ryan?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, I think if Ollie had gone and Poch would have come in, I think, he has built a good squad there, and Poch, with that squad, you know, they'd definitely be my favourites for the title then if Poch had this
Yeah.
squad the way this league is, you know. Poch with that amount of talent it'd be pretty scary, United, to be honest. And he would have definitely got them through the Champions League route, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
Imagine only needing 1 point in 2 games and not making it through.
That's what I
That
mean.
was
And
such a good
it's not
night when they got knocked out. Oh, that was good. That was such a good
for
night.
me.
Oh my.
I think if they had like, I know the games, it was that Istanbul loss that really did
Yeah,
it. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, definitely.
But I just think, I don't know. I just think they were confident that they were going through. You know, there was no doubt that, oh, they won't go through. And I just think, yeah, a better manager would have got them through. So,
Definitely.
you know, I'm not here to slate Ollie because I don't watch him enough, but I just, from what I have seen, there doesn't seem to be tactics there that he
Yeah,
for me, like, he's never bringing on Bruno Fernandes isn't a tactic. It's just you
yeah,
brought on a good player, but me personally, he shouldn't be on the bench in the first place. Like, he's been your best player. You know, you don't see De Bruyne on the bench unless he's not fully fit or it's a game that we don't really need to win. I think you have to start your best players. And yeah, when you don't do that, I can't really say you're a great manager. We'll see what
I mean,
happens. The
I
league,
remember, yeah,
you know. But
I
yeah, go on.
remember saying this a couple of days ago on the Q&A. I think I was saying it to Harris actually when he was on. Like,
Yeah.
when Ollie's recruitment, when Klopp brought Jota, for example, I first thing I said was he's a Klopp player. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
He's a sort of player with his attributes that will fit into Klopp's system perfectly. And maybe when Pep brought Bernardo Silva, for example, you could tell Bernardo Silva was a Pep player. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but then I look at Ollie and I'm like, what is an Ollie player? Do you get what I mean? Like, what what kind of player does he want? Like, it's weird with him because the recruitment he's brought, like some of them have been really good, like Bruno and these guys. But I look at his signing of Wan-Bissaka, who's a good player, good defensively, but like he's trying to play out the back, play the ball out from the back with Wan-Bissaka, and I'm like, you brought him. Surely you should have brought someone to fit
Mm.
that system of playing out from the back, not
Yeah.
by Wan-Bissaka who is quite clumsy on the ball and can be pressed, you know. So it's
Yeah.
a weird one with Ollie.
Yeah. I don't think he's kind of figured it out yet. I just think
Mm.
he might be a good manager in the future, but I just think he's not ready for a job like Man United. That is
Man
a big
United,
job.
yeah.
It's a big task in general, but I think even more so now because they're not having the success that they had before.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a big job for him. I feel the same for Lampard at Chelsea.
Even
The same
Arteta
for
as well.
Arteta at Arsenal. I think these jobs are such big jobs that they'd have to come in and be perfect to kind of get the fans' support. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's one of them things, and that's why in all of Man United, Chelsea, and Arsenal, half of their fans at least are manager out, and it's because the job is almost like too big for them, if you know what I
Yeah.
mean. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
You never know. Ollie could go and win the league. I don't think he'll go on to be a Fergie, but
No.
you never know. You never know.
It comes down to that where if Ollie was to get sacked from United, you know, having maybe not won a league title, having won nothing, he's not getting a job. I can't see him getting another job in the Premier League anytime soon. You know, he had his chance with Cardiff that time and he got
Yeah,
relegated. So yeah, I
yeah.
can't. Yeah,
I think it's just because obviously who he is to Man United, why he
yeah,
kind of got it. I
yeah,
don't think he would have
definitely.
got it if it was like,
No, no
you know,
chance. Same with Lampard.
yeah,
Same with
yeah.
Lampard.
It's like in the future, people have said like, who would you want after Pep? Like, I would love one day for Vincent Company to manage Man City, but I don't want him in until he's ready because I
Mm.
wouldn't want him to come in and then we have to sack him, or he come in
Yeah,
and
I
then
get what you mean.
City are awful and I have to say, oh, get rid of Vincent Company. I don't want to say that, so I want him to prove himself, go out there, maybe like obviously for Pep. it worked. Barcelona put him in their B team. He
Mm.
did all right. So then he put him in the first team and he hit the ground running. But not every club legend or club player is like that. So I think you just have to see. Obviously, with some it works and with others it doesn't. But yeah, we'll see. I think it is early days for him. So we'll see. But I just don't think he'll get the time that he needs because I think United as a club expect trophies.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
if he doesn't bring trophies, he will be gone. That's just the way it is. Harris said, who were you more afraid of, United or Chelsea? I think this might be to you. Like, I think.
At the beginning of this, in terms of for the title, at the beginning of the season, I was more scared of Chelsea because of who they brought and stuff like that. But now I'm obviously more scared of United. I'm not scared of Chelsea anymore in terms of challenging us. I think I saw that today in the last few games that they're just not gelling as a team, and Chelsea have individual brilliance as well. I'll say that, but with United's individual brilliance are already settled in the Premier League. Whereas Chelsea's like Havertz, Ziyech has obviously started well, but a lot of them aren't. And I don't rate Werner, but Werner okay as well. Like they're not settled in the league yet. I think Chelsea could definitely challenge next season because I think then with the amount of signings they brought in, they would have had a year together, a year settling in the Premier League that they'll challenge next season. Maybe not with Lampard, but with another manager. But and that's why I put United above Chelsea because their individual brilliance is already settled in the Premier League. So.
Yeah, I agree. I think Chelsea will challenge next year.
I think they will. I think they could definitely win it next year.
Yeah. They've got a good chance. Okay, Toby Allen. Everyone's kind of talking about Ollie in the comments. So Toby says, "Man are out of the Champions League. We always have to look at the big picture. Tuchel had won a whole league, but PSG knew they could get better. That's the mentality we need, in my opinion."
You know what? To a Champions League final last year, Tuchel.
It's interesting though with that because I was on a show earlier. I was on Monstar's YouTube channel, and he was saying, because I said that at the start of the season I expected us to win the league because we didn't win it last year, and he said like that mentality of City where it's like we expect to win the league because we didn't win it last year. Like he was saying, Chelsea fans at the start of the season were saying, "Oh, we'll take top 4." And he's like, at a club like Chelsea, a club like City, a club like United, Liverpool, these sorts of clubs, like the standard has to be high. Like you can't go into a season saying, I don't mind if we get top 10. Like, that's sort of like an Everton or an Aston Villa expectation. Do you know what I mean? So I think with clubs, it's interesting because Man United are always going to want to be up there, regardless of how good or bad their team are, regardless of who they've got in as a manager. They're expecting to go and at least challenge in the league, maybe not win it, but challenge, you know what I mean? And obviously this season they are. But yeah, that mentality of, oh, we'll just settle for 4th because we got Ollie. That's not good enough for a club the size of Man United. And if that means sacking Ollie, then sack Ollie. That's what you need to do because
I mean, Tuchel's got sacked for a lot less than what Ollie is. I mean, Tuchel actually got through in the group stages in Ollie's group and got to a Champions League final last season. So and I understand why they sacked him as well. PSG, I do understand why they have, and they've gone and brought Pochettino, who in my opinion is a better manager. So that's standards for you.
Yeah, but that's even what I'm saying about like the ex-player aspect. Like they've got Pochettino in now. They didn't get Pochettino in years ago when he was at the start of his career. They waited until he proven himself a little bit at Tottenham. Now they've gone and got him. He's one of their club players, ex-players, and they've got him in now. And even with City, like it's interesting because we had Vieira. Obviously, Vieira's not a Man City legend; he's an Arsenal legend, but he still played for Man City. And when he left, obviously, we gave him a job in our youth team. Then he got a job in America. Now he's moved around. I think he got sacked by Leeds.
Yeah, he got sacked recently.
Yeah, but if he turned out, say he went a different way and he turned out like Klopp, where he goes to a team in the Bundesliga and does really well, and he's available, Man City might get him at that stage, or even Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? When he's proven. But I think it's like almost at the moment, it's kind of like these teams are like, oh, we'll get him in because he's an ex-player, but it doesn't always work. I think you need to get the experience first and then come in later, and then you can be a club legend and a legend as a manager.
I mean, yeah, exactly. I said that on the Q&A last year, the other day with you and Flawless about Gerrard. I know Gerrard will be manager one day, but I'm not a fan of him becoming manager because, obviously I want him to do well and all that, but I don't want a manager being brought in by the club purely for the fact that he's a club legend, Like, I don't want to go down this sentiment FC route,
Yeah.
I want to be winning the big trophies consistently, and challenging for them. And unless Steven Gerrard goes on and before he comes to Liverpool proves himself as one of the best managers in the world, I don't want him because I want one of the best managers in the world like we've got right now, not just a club legend. And I said the other day that, and I stand by it, that if Gerrard does come in, I'll back him. But the first time I see things go wrong and he's not the man, I'm not going to keep quiet. I'll say that. I want him out.
Yeah. And that's what happens though, isn't it? So I think it's just a little bit early sometimes. Like he's doing all right at Rangers. He's doing a great job at Rangers. So maybe
but that's not enough for me, the Scottish League.
Yeah, but maybe in 5 or 6 years he'll be ready for the Liverpool job. You don't know. Every manager's a risk anyway. But I think you don't want to kind of, obviously they don't ruin the legacy. People say, have they ruined the legacy? They don't. But I think it just kind of gives a little bit of a, when people say Gerrard now, it's all happy things. Do you know what I mean? When people say he manages Liverpool and you end up finishing 8th, it'll be when people say Gerrard, it'll be like, oh yeah, as a manager or as a player. So you don't really want that sort of thing. I personally, as much as I would love to see Company manage City, I don't want him to do it till he's ready. Or in one of them things where we've won everything consistently for however many years, and then we don't mind having a few years that we maybe don't win so much, but that's not going to be anytime soon. Duke says, Yannicka, who do you think our player of the season is? I've said this before. I don't really have one. I think there's been 3 in particular, with some special mentions. I'd say Gundogan in the midfield. I'd say Cancelo and Diaz. They're the 3 that I'd say have been our players of the season. Special mentions have to be said for Edison. I think Edison's improved this season. Last season, it seemed to be if there was like a one-on-one, they'd probably come out on top, but he seems to be doing a bit better this season. So, and kind of saving us in games where they might have 2 shots, he's making 2 saves, which he wasn't doing last season. So yeah, I don't think City have been that bad this season. I just think the results haven't really gone our way. And I just think our attackers have underperformed so far. But hopefully we don't change it. 187 gets said Jan holding the Q A on our own. Love to see it. I think this might have been earlier before you jumped down. Duke also says we have Brighton, Sheffield, West Brom, Burnley as our next games. Please City win those games.
Yeah, do you know what? To win those all 4.
That's what you'd expect, but it is what it is. I think Brighton, they play a football, so it might play into our hands a little bit. Sheffield, we should be beating Sheffield because they haven't beaten anyone. West Brom, obviously we struggled against them last time, so I don't think that'll be an easy game, but I'm assuming that I think if Pep sets up how he set up today, we win that game. Burnley, I don't know about
Burnley though, I think. Isn't it that 5-0 you always get?
Yeah, we don't normally struggle against Burnley, but this season's just a bit weird for me, so it's not as easy to predict. But yeah, I would expect from them games, I'd expect us to win them all. If we can't win them all, maybe a draw against West Brom, but I think 2 points from West Brom is pretty poor for the season. So I think we need to beat West Brom this time round. So maybe draw to Brighton. But yeah, I think we should be beating them all, really. I can't there's no game in there that I would accept losing or drawing. I think we need to win them all. 1 second. These people are arguing. Duke says Zinchenko is not a left back. He's not, but he's been playing there. He does all right, I suppose. Yeah, Toby Allen says Van Gaal was a fancy name with pedigree, but he got sacked because our standards were high. Same with Mourinho. I think at a club like Man United, they have to be high.
I think Van Gaal was a. I can understand why Mourinho, and I can understand why Van Gaal got sacked. But Van Gaal, when United were playing, they were playing possession football, but obviously they were struggling to score goals. But I think that a lot of that has to come down to, especially in his second season, I think the season he got sacked, the fact that they didn't have good players. He was playing like Fellaini and Schneiderlin in midfield. They didn't, they brought Pogba and that after, and I remember the amount of young players he was starting was pretty mad, and he had one of the best defenses in the league because they just kept the ball, which is I think the most effective way of defending. If you keep the ball, the other team can't score. So I think Van Gaal was unlucky because I don't think he had the players to be able to fit his system. But he was making Chris Smalling look like one of the best defenders in the world at times. So I think Van Gaal was a bit unlucky.
I think he came there a bit early. I think if he went there now, like you say, he'd have better
with
players.
This team, Van Gaal with this team would be it would be great for them.
I think that happens sometimes with managers, though, innit? They come at the wrong time, and it's a little bit unfair.
Van Gaal would have been great for them.
Says, Jan, will you be at the derby watch along? I don't know if I can watch a City derby when I'm just going to be stressed because I hate derby.
I hate it. I can understand.
And do you know what it is? The fact that everyone's stream is not at the same time. So
I don't like that.
Watching it and somebody celebrating a Man United goal, that's just going to annoy me because I haven't seen it. So I don't know. We'll have to see. Let me scroll down a bit because there seems to be. Oh, we got a super chat. Big up to you, Will. Thank you.
Will.
We appreciate it. He says Allegri apparently to replace Lampard this week.
Oh, really?
That's interesting.
It wouldn't surprise me if Allegri replaced him. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, you know what it is though with Chelsea is like you say. I don't think he'll get as much time as he would at another club. Like they're very, if you can win the Champions League and get sacked,
they're ruthless. They are ruthless, Chelsea.
That says it all, doesn't it? One sec. There's loads of comments. It's a lot of it is about Bruno. Harris says Bruno is Man United manager. Probably.
Yeah. Probably. He does have a lot of influence there, it looks like. So
Toby Allen says, I think our squad is good enough to win. It's the manager that tips you over the edge. Classic example, Prime Mourinho and Porto, their squad had no right to win the Champions League.
That's facts,
this is what I've been saying all season. This is why I can't rule Pep out of a title race when I've seen him win title races before. I'm not saying we're going to win it because we haven't been good enough in some games this season. But I think if anyone can get us over the edge, it's going to be Pep. Same with Klopp for Liverpool. But we'll see.
I would like to see us in I wouldn't like to see us in a title race. I'd want us to win it by March in the ideal. But if we are in a title race, it would be interesting to see how we would do because Klopp didn't win the title race a couple of years ago. But I mean, we didn't really do anything wrong. I mean, we won our last 9 games. We just City won their last 14 and finished 1 point ahead. So I mean, people say we bottled that season. We didn't bottle that season. We were really good. We won the Champions League as well. So City were just 1 point better than us that season. It's just one of those things, I guess.
Yeah. It's mad though, because when you like draw a game, like you always get fans saying, "Oh my god, it's 2 points drop," but like that could actually win you a title if you think about it. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy.
I think with Liverpool and City the last few years, with the points totals that both teams have managed to get,
Yeah.
literally 2 points drop to 1 draw seems like a loss, you know.
Yeah, it does.
No idea.
But it's good because this is what I say about like standards. Like every game that Liverpool don't win is 2 points dropped. Like you're never going to go into a game and think, okay, if you play Man City away, you might say, okay, it's a decent point. Do you know what I mean? The same for us at Anfield. If we go to Anfield and get a draw, that's good because we never win there. So it's an improvement. But really, you know, even the season that we drew at Anfield last time, that was 2 points.
Mahrez missed the penalty.
We won that game, yeah. So like,
missed
even though we don't win there and it was a good point, City did enough in that game to win it. So it felt like 2 points dropped. You know what I mean? So, but it's just the standard. It's like them Chelsea fans were saying today, like their standards have kind of dropped a bit because they're now saying, oh, as long as we get top 4. And it's like, really, with a club that's done what Chelsea have done over the past 15, 20 years, like, you should really be winning these games. Do you know what I mean? And they're not doing that. So we'll have to see what happens. I think this season's not as clear cut as it normally is. I think by now you've kind of got your Liverpool would be sort of 6-7 points clear at the top minimum. And it's not really the case. So we'll see what happens. All talking about Ollie. Why Not Sentiment says Ollie Gunnar, fraudster, 12 years an apprentice. Geezer's been coaching for 12 years, still learning. It's true. He's been a manager a long time, actually.
Yeah, he is.
And even like Lampard's not been a manager that long. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, same with Arteta, obviously, as well.
Yeah. Like, whereas Ollie has actually been a manager longer. So I don't know. Somebody said I think it was Flawless actually. He actually said like I don't see Ollie getting better. Like he can't see Ollie becoming like a Fergie where he goes on and wins 7-8 titles. Like even he says like even if he wins it, it'll be like a one-off, one-off win. And he probably just won't win it again, you know. And it's a bit of a freak season this year as well.
Yeah.
So I don't even know if you win it this year. I don't even know if that's a sign of like him being a fantastic manager. I think it's just Man United have
very good players in a poor league.
Yeah. He's got the right players, and then players like I was saying today about Liverpool. Like it's interesting because defensively, I think Liverpool are better than Man United defensively.
Yeah, we are better.
In the midfield, Man United's midfield is better than Liverpool.
Definitely.
And going forward, it's not that different. So I actually think that your teams are quite evenly matched. Do you know what I mean?
I think theirs is better. I think theirs is better.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
We just got the better manager. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've said that. What I've said about Mane and Salah over the last couple of over the last, quite a bit actually. I've said that they're good players. I rate them, but if they were put in any other team, maybe apart from Man City because it's an attacking system, they look pretty ordinary. I'm not gonna lie. They would because they're not great dribblers. They're not clinical. They don't pass it that great. They're just very good athletes, and their movement's very good. I'll say that their movement is very good. But they score goals and get great numbers because they're in a great system. I honestly think if you put the likes of Rashford, Martial, Greenwood in that Liverpool system under Klopp, they'd be doing better than Mane and Salah, and definitely Firmino. So I think that, and their midfield, like you said, is definitely better than ours. So I think their team overall and squad is better than ours.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and this is why, like, it's not. This is why I think it does come down to the manager sometimes because they have the players, and this is why people are taking them seriously in a title race because they have the players. But it's just whether the manager can get the best out of them players. And I don't think, obviously, Bruno, he is getting the best out of, but I don't think he's getting the best out of every single one of their players.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll see what happens. Duke says, never seen Rashford score 31 goals in a season. I think that's
He would at Liverpool. He would at Liverpool in that system, definitely.
Oh, yeah. He would at City as well. Him under Pep.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I'd love Rashford at City.
I think he'd suit Liverpool more under Klopp with the kind of player he is. I think he'd suit us more. And I think he'd be better than Mane and Salah because even though I've got my criticisms of Rashford, I think he's a very, I rate him, but he's overrated in terms of I think he's inconsistent and during games, I think he's still a bit raw at times. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
But at Liverpool under Klopp, he's definitely got more raw ability than Salah and Mane. So at Liverpool, he's a good enough athlete as well. So under Klopp, it would be pretty mad, Rashford.
Yeah, I think under any decent manager, I think
under
he'd get
Pep as well.
Yeah. Ryan said, Conrad says, Ryan, when Klopp leaves, do you think Gerrard to replace him? We've already discussed that. Will changed his tweet about Allegri to say it's next week.
It's FA Cup this weekend, I think, so no league games.
He says that Tuchel only got sacked for off-the-pitch reasons.
Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it must be something because he's done what you would expect.
He's not really done much wrong. Yeah, he's not done much wrong.
And the thing
I don't know how they're doing in the league.
Well,
I'm not sure how they're doing.
I don't know how they do. Yeah, I don't know how they're doing right now.
I don't know how they're doing. I've seen they've dropped points in quite a few games this season, but I don't know where they are in their league.
Yeah. But I think it's interesting because, like, when I watch PSG in the Champions League, like last season they got to the final, but before that, like, I don't even think they got to a semi. I think the first time they got to a semi-final, they got to the final. So they've not been doing. City haven't been doing well in the Champions League, but they were actually doing worse than us until last season. So I think even that is not realistic to, even though they're expected to win it like City are. I don't know how realistic it is to expect the manager to win it. Like, obviously, with what they've spent, they're going to say that. Same with City, but, we'll have to see. I'm hoping we win it before them. I'd like to see us win it before them. But Poch might bring it home. Like, you never know.
We've got to a final before with them, not as good a team on paper as well with that Tottenham team. So, and from that, what I remember of that Bayern PSG final last year, PSG had the chances to win that game. I love Neymar and Mbappe, but they did miss chances. And
yeah, they did. Yeah.
Another day, we'd be talking about Tuchel as a Champions League winner. So it's just fine margins at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think a lot of people got on Neymar's back for that game because it was kind of like that was his time to show, like, he's the third best player in the world or whatever people were saying. And he didn't really do that. I think him and Mbappe had time, but then it is Bayern Munich.
I love Neymar. Neymar's my favorite player, but he unfortunately wasn't great in the finals. So it's one of those things, I guess.
Why not? Sentiment says Ole Gunnar frauds have been managing for 12, 13 years. Arteta and Frank in their former years, but people still compare rookies to a senior apprentice. Yeah, it's true, actually. We shouldn't really be comparing Ole to them because Ole has been in it longer and he's been in the Prem before as well. So
yeah,
it's not really fair. I agree with that.
I agree.
Kian says, when's Flawless, the GOAT, coming on? He's not. It's his birthday today. He's having a rest. So, yeah, he'll be back tomorrow. I think he does From a Third Eye View tomorrow night. So check that out. I think it'll be on this. I think it's on Sarcasm City.
Yeah.
Normally it's on Pi Radio, but I think it's
I don't think they can go in the studio, I think. I'm not sure. So
yeah, they do. They normally do it on Pi Radio, but I think because they're off for Christmas, I'm not sure if they're back. But if you check out Flawless's Twitter, it'll tell you that. Conrad said, thoughts on Big Sam losing 4-0 to Arsenal.
Arsenal played really well. They were really good, Arsenal. That second goal they scored, especially, like, that was a really good team goal. And yeah, they did what Liverpool didn't do, was get the first goal against West Brom, but they killed them off and we couldn't. So fair play to Arsenal. They played really well.
Yeah. I think as well, like, I don't feel sorry for West Brom because it's like they sacked a manager for drawing to City. Like, I don't know if that was the full reason, but it's kind of like after the game, it was like, that's not good enough.
They definitely had that plan for a while.
They must have done. They must have done because there's no way.
No.
Obviously, he had a good result against Liverpool, but yeah, I think he's supposed to be defensive. And I didn't watch the game, but I know Arsenal.
I turned it off after the first goal. I turned it off after the second goal. I just turned it off.
Yeah, Arsenal's goals were good there. They were really clinical. Like everything go in, which is unlike, because I was saying a while ago that like Arsenal are worse than City. Like they're missing chances like one after the other, and you know they look like they're more clinical now. But it's amazing, like we were saying, like 3 wins has taken Arsenal from relegation to like
3 points behind Chelsea. I mean,
like 3 points behind Chelsea. It's this league is crazy. So yeah,
did you see that Tierney goal? That Kieran Tierney goal for Arsenal. That was a really good goal. No, that was a really good goal.
Yeah.
He's a good player, Tierney.
Yeah, they've got some good players. They've got Martinelli, great player. Saka, I love Saka.
Yeah, Saka's good.
So I think they've got some good young players, but I just think together as a team, they hadn't really been clicking. Maybe if they get on some good form now, they can. I don't think Arsenal will finish in the bottom half.
No, I think they would.
They're
turning it around. They started to turn it around a bit.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Just two more wins, and they could be above Chelsea. You just don't know. So we'll have to see. Aku says United hired 3 pragmatic managers in a row after Fergie. We need an attacking manager. It depends on your club, really, isn't it? I'm not going to be on Midnight Vibes, but I'm going to tune in to check out. I'll be in the comments eventually, but yeah, I'm not on it. Christian says Rashford will never play for Little City. Probably not. He'll stay at United for the rest of his career.
Yeah.
I think. Says Martial will rip. I'm assuming that means Stones to bits. We ready? No one has actually Stones about this season, so we'll see. Andrew Lane says Bayern Munich look ridiculously strong regarding the Champions League. They are the team to beat. I agree.
Yeah, they're always the team to beat. Yeah.
Lewandowski is real, isn't it?
Something else, that guy. But with the Champions League, it's so unpredictable, you know. Yeah. It's hard to say with the Champions League, this team's definitely going to win it, because all it takes is one game for it to all go wrong. So that's why I always say the Champions League for me is a tougher one to win, in my opinion, because
it's a weird one, the Champions League, because it's like you could get a hard group. So you get a hard group, you get, I don't know, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, your team, and then somehow you get through the group. Do you know what I mean? Or say you don't get that. Say you get Barcelona and then you get through the group. So you finish first in your group, but then Real Madrid finish second. So you draw Real Madrid. So then next minute you've got Real Madrid. So you beat Real Madrid. And then the next round you've got Bayern Munich. It's like the chances of you getting further in the Champions League are a lot harder than if you have Porto, Marseille in your group, you know, them sorts of teams, and then you go through and then you get Leipzig, and then you go through and then you get, I don't know, Porto again. And then, you know, it's your route to the final can be very different. And I think with City, it's almost like when we had Real Madrid, like we were really good against them and we beat them. And then when we got an arguably easier team, heads went. So I think it's almost like for City, I don't mind getting Bayern Munich because I know that City know that they have to turn up and be 100% on form to beat Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
Obviously, if we get to a final, I don't want to play anyone that's won it before because obviously experience.
That was why it was good we played Tottenham the year we won it, you know, because we were not good that final. We were terrible, but
terrible game.
I mean, Champions League's one of those where, I mean, there's two. I always look with the Champions League Premier League debate, which is harder to win. I always look at it in two ways. The Premier League, you know, if the best team does win it in the end over 38 games, but with the Premier League, if you're the best team, you can still have one bad game and still win it. With the Champions League, you know, I always look back to that. You know, the year you got the Centurions, you had the league done by about, you know, December or something. But then, and you were really good in the Champions League group and thrashing everyone. But when you came to Anfield in the first leg, it weren't even one bad game. It was one bad half an hour can basically ruin your Champions League campaign. One bad half an hour, that's all it takes. One moment can ruin it. But then obviously with the Champions League, it's more likely that you know, you can have a team who shouldn't be winning it like we did in 2005, like what Chelsea did in whatever year they won it. They weren't that good.
2012 it was.
So it's just, there's two ways of looking at it. Personally, I just think the Champions League is overall harder to win. Just when you look at like Sir Alex Ferguson, for example, won 13 league titles, but only won 2 European Cups, and Wenger won 3 leagues but didn't win a European Cup. So yeah, it's a hard debate to be fair.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's one of them things that I honestly think that we'll win it when we don't expect to win it. I think at the moment everyone's kind of saying City might win it. I think we won't win it when it's like that. I think we'll win it in a season where we're ruled out. Everyone thinks City got no chance.
The pressure's off.
Yeah, the pressure's off and City will go and win it. But I don't know. I'd like to think we can win it to get it over and done with. I love the league title. That's the trophy that I like. You know, if I could pick a trophy every season, I'd pick the league. But we do need to win the Champions League, so I'm hoping we do win it.
I mean, the Champions League just does so much for your club if you win it. I mean, it takes you to that next level if you win a Champions League. It's just so big to win. It's just the respect you get around the world, like, you know, champions of Europe, you know, even teams like Barcelona and all these clubs around the world take you more seriously as a club. Like, it's just mad if you win the Champions League.
Yeah. You know, I wanted to win it last year just because I wanted David Silva to win it. You know, before that I wanted Company to win it. So I don't know, maybe when Aguero leaves we'll win it. It's a bit unfortunate because he's been really good in the Champions League, but you know, I just think we'll win it when we least expect it. And right now I think we're almost not expecting to win it as in
but you're up there as one of the favourites.
But yeah, we're one of the favourites, and I just feel like we won't win it under them circumstances. But we'll see. You know, it just depends on who we get. Obviously, if we draw Bayern Munich if we get through the next round, and then we draw Bayern Munich, it's obviously, you know, decreases our chances of winning it. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens. But I think for now. Yeah, go on.
I think City's best chance, if you'd have beaten Lyon last season, your best chance of beating Bayern Munich would have come last season because I think you would have played them in the semis and over one leg. Last season, if it was over 2 legs, I would have said Bayern will win over 2 legs. But over one leg, City could definitely have beaten Bayern in one game.
Yeah.
So, and it's just one of those things where you just couldn't get over the line against Lyon. So.
Yeah, I think a final with Pep as the manager, you know, against Bayern Munich, I think we would have had a chance. I'm not saying we would have won it, but I think we would have had a chance to win it. And I think last season, I think the season against you guys as well, when it was Tottenham, I think they were sort of our best chances of winning it. So I think it's only going to get harder, but we'll see. I think it's one of them things. I'm not too bothered either way. Like, I want us to win it, but if we don't, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah,
it'll be more Pep and the players that are annoyed than the fans. Our fans are not massive fans of UEFA, so it is what it is. Why Not Sentiment says, Ryan or Jan, did you catch the boxing yesterday? Did you watch boxing?
No, I didn't. I do. I only watch like the massive fights, to be honest. I only really watch heavyweight boxing, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like Joshua Fury. But yeah, I heard about it last night, but I didn't watch it. No.
Yeah, I don't watch boxing. It is me. I don't know who this person is because they keep coming on and saying comments, but then they never reveal who they are. So yeah. Why not? Sentiment says Anita. Big up to Anita. I love Anita.
Yeah,
It says Anita is bare vex off the gas train. Isn't ironically coincidental that Pep and Arteta beat Chelsea 3-1. Did Arsenal win 3-1?
yeah, it was last week, I think. Yeah, they did
Yeah.
last week. Yeah, they beat them.
Do you know, I'm actually shocked that City won 3-1, to be honest. I didn't
I
expect
still
that.
am, yeah. Should have been
Didn't
more than 3-1 as well, yeah.
know. Big up to Jem. He says,
Yeah, big up,
please. Big up to him. Cedric Rama says, hello, Yannicka and Guy. He's called Ryan. Just tuning in from Chicago. Man City was dangerous today. Chelsea is in the dump, and Man United are doing good. I'm a Man United fan, by the way. Let's hope Liverpool stumbles tomorrow.
Let's hope not.
Do you know what? I like the fact that the league is like so close that, like, you know, normally if you drop 2 points or you lose, it's not the end of the world, but like it's a big hit, you know, because if Man United win their next game, it's just, you know, ideally you drop points tomorrow and then Man United drop points. That's the ideal scenario.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be like this all season, though. I feel like it's going to be, if you lose a game, it's like, oh, we're not in the title race, and then the next week the other team loses.
You're back in it, yeah.
Yeah, it's just going to
be up and down, up and down.
Yeah, it is. I think City actually, like, this is what gives me confidence. I think City do quite well when it's one of them seasons, you know, where you don't know who's going to win. I think like City tend to do all right. But I don't know. I think we can handle pressure. Like we can handle, proven that we can handle it under pressure. But also, we kind of like when the pressure's off, because I think this season the pressure's been off us for a bit because obviously people just ruled us out. So I think we've been doing quite well when the pressure's off.
Yeah.
I think we can also handle pressure when it comes to it.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Especially in the league, you know, maybe not so much in the Champions League, but in the league, City have proved they can on a lot of time. That weren't a dig, by the way. That was just
no. Champions League. I think it's I've always said it's a mentality thing, and that's why I didn't think City would win it, because it's like that little bit of, for you, it was obviously your players have won it now, so it's different. But before they'd won it, the clubs won it, you know. So it's like you're almost.
The pressure was for the Premier League title rather than the Champions League, because obviously not winning it for 30 years. So.
Yeah, and that mentality of like we've won it. Like, say for example, they do this Super League now, and they change the Champions League and they bring this Super League in, and Man City go and win it, and then, you know, Man City win it again. Like, it's almost like City's team will probably be able to win it again and again because the team have won it, the club have won it. Whereas, like, I don't know, say Liverpool don't win it. If you got into a final with us, we might win it because we've been there, done that. Do you know what I mean? So it's the same sort of thing. I think for Liverpool, because you've won it so many times, it's kind of like you almost expect to win it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Man United, Man United would be a threat in the Champions League if they got far because they've won it before.
Yeah.
You know, I think with City, it's just like we need to kind of get over that emotional, like you did with the Premier League. Like, we can win this. And then once they win it, I think City, if they win the Champions League, they'll win it again. I don't think they'll win it and then not win it ever again. I think they'll win it, not the year after. We're not going to retain it. But I think
you'll win it again in like the next 5 years.
Yeah. I think City could do that, but it's just we need to get the first one. Especially if Pep stays. If Pep say Pep won it this year and then extended his contract, I can see Pep
win it again. Yeah, he'll win it again, definitely.
So let's hope for that. But we'll wrap up now. We've done almost 2 hours. But thanks everyone for tuning in. If you haven't already liked the video, subscribe. We're on the road to 2K. Share it around your socials as well. Thank you to you, Ryan.
Yeah,
for
cheers for having me
coming on. I don't know if you want to shout out your Instagram. He doesn't have Twitter. If you want people to follow you.
Just on Instagram at Ryan_K. That's it, really.
Yep. So thanks for coming on anyway. Big up to you guys for tuning in. And we will see you next week at probably 8:30, the usual time. It's a little bit later today because I had some stuff to do. But yeah, big up Flawless on his birthday as well. So we'll see you guys